I was going to do an unboxing and review of one of my favorite anime series of all time, but that's going to have to wait, because I just watched The Little Prince and I need to talk about it. The Little Prince is a French and Canadian CG stop-motion animated film based on Antoine de Saint-Exupéry's book of the same title. And this movie was released back in 2015. It was supposed to get a US theatrical release as well. In fact, I remember seeing trailers and thinking it looked pretty interesting. But sadly, Paramount decided the last minute to pull the movie's theatrical release. I guess they thought Americans were really stupid or have bad taste or something. It really is a shame. But I'll be honest, I wasn't trying to go out of my way to see this movie, and I bet no one else beside of me had even heard of this movie. But luckily, Netflix has picked it up, and a few days ago they released it on the website for its subscribers to view. Welcome to Physical Copy. In today's video, I review The Little Prince. I was not at all familiar with the source material for this story, but let me tell you, the night after I watched this movie, I rushed over to Barnes & Noble after work 15 minutes before they closed to pick up the book and give it a read. The movie was that good. The movie, The Little Prince, is about a girl who moves into a neighborhood to go to a prestigious school. Next door is a crazy old coot of an old man, and over time she comes to befriend him, where he tells her the tale of the Little Prince from the actual book. The story was very heartwarming, and I even cried at a few moments. On most reviews I read online, most people were unimpressed with the surrounding story with the girl and old man, because the actual story of the Little Prince from the book is told off and on, like a story within a story. But I thought this was a perfect way to tell the story. The surrounding story is there to reinforce the theme. I loved the surrounding story so much that I would say that I was more engaged with it than the actual story from the book. However, I will admit that the third act does take a bit of a detour and may catch many people off guard. It's definitely not as strong as the other parts of the movie, but it wasn't bad enough for me to dismiss the entire film. It still had gorgeous animation, the themes really hit home, and the last minute or so was so well done that I could look past the third act and its fault. And one thing I love about how the way this movie told its story is at no point was there ever a pop culture reference or a fart joke or a joke just for joke's sake. This movie took itself seriously. And to me it kind of felt like a Studio Ghibli movie. There was an aura of sophistication around this. Something sorely lacking in many kids' movies and American animation in general. There were two different animation styles used in The Little Prince. The actual storybook story of The Little Prince is told in stop-motion animation, while the other story with the old man and the girl are told with CG animation. Both look amazing. The real standout, though, is the stop-motion, and I can't explain it other than it was beautiful. Many of the models looked like they were made out of paper, or at least they were designed to look like paper, and that really adds to the storybook aesthetic, almost like the pages of the book itself comprised the models. Yes, the stop-motion portions of this movie are stunning, but so is the CG. Since there's so little of a handcrafted feel in CG animation, I feel it's hard for people to appreciate its artistry, unless it looks lifelike. There isn't anything new in this. No new particle engine with simulated physics or a lighting algorithm or other technical mumbo-jumbo that most people associate with good CG animation. No, this movie looks just about as good as every decent animated movie. But look at this cinematography. Look at these shots. The city is very clean, shots look symmetrical, houses are very colorless. Take a look at this shot where the girl is closing the door. It's in the dead center. The camera doesn't pan. In fact, many of the shots are like this until we get to the old man's house, where everything has color and shots seem less symmetrical. Many people didn't like the CG in this movie, and I just don't know why. I think it's just really hard to wow people with CG if it's of something mundane like track homes. Upon rewatching, I noticed another thing that I was really impressed at: the editing. In fact, I might even go as far to say that this might be the best editing I've seen in an animated movie, ever. The closest thing I can compare it to is an Edgar Wright film, specifically Hot Fuzz. Okay, that's admittedly the only Edgar Wright film I've seen, but these cuts were kind of similar. There were a lot of fast cuts to emphasize the fast-moving, clockwork-like adult world. Hans Zimmer wrote the score, so of course it's going to be good. But there were also some original songs sung by an artist named Camille. Watching this movie, I came to the realization that every animated movie I can think of that has Hans Zimmer doing the music ends up being one of my favorite animated films. He did The Lion King, The Prince of Egypt, and now The Little Prince. Oh, okay, maybe I just like movies with princes or ones that start with the word the. Okay, now I'm getting off topic. Camille's songs were beautiful and catchy and fit the tone well. Zimmer even uses her melodies a few times in the score, and this allows these songs to really become part of the film. Many original songs used in movies are just used once, which can make them have this pasted feel. And it really makes Camille's songs feel like they belong in this movie. I appreciated that they did that. Everything about The Little Prince was beautiful. The animation was beautiful, the story was beautiful, the message was beautiful, and it's become my favorite animated movie in a long time, and may end up being one of my favorite animated movies of all time, surpassing many Disney and yes, even Ghibli movies as well. I highly recommend this movie. It's not just for kids, but for adults as well, and it may be even more important for adults. It's a cliche to say, but I felt like a kid while watching this film. I give The Little Prince a 9 out of 10. So now's the time I'm going to talk about spoilers, so if you have not seen The Little Prince, please do so now so you can be just as surprised as I was. My favorite part of this movie was how it used its metaphors to tell its lessons. The main lesson of this movie is that the bonds we make with people can never be broken, even if they leave or die or even grow up. It would have been easy for the creators to take a big dump on this movie's metaphors by letting the old man survive. There were a few times I was afraid he would survive, but the way they handled him was perfect. When the camera panned up into the starry sky and laughter of the prince and old man can be heard, I just lost it. Tears began to roll down my eyes, but I didn't want to cry, because my 7-year-old cousin was also in the room with me. I didn't know if he was understanding the subtext. Did he know that the old man died? Did the subtext reach him? Could he understand? Or did he see that the old man was alive and well in the end and simply took it as that? I didn't want to be the one who had to explain what happened to him, so I just tried as hard as I could to hold in my tears. Might have not been the best idea. That could have been a great conversation to have. I just didn't want to have it. And I thought it was also kind of cool that both adults and children might take away something extraordinarily different from the movie. Although, the next night during dinner when we were talking with him, I got the feeling that he did understand what happened. He did know the old man died. So I guess I just shouldn't underestimate kids, because I think he did know what happened. They are smarter than we give them credit for, or at least I do. So have you seen The Little Prince? If you have, give your review in the comment sections below. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up or share it with your friends. If you want to see more from Physical Copy, why not check out my review of Kiznaiver, the new Studio Trigger anime show. Or even hit that subscribe button. But until next time, I'll see you there.